Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see you all on this Wednesday morning. Look forward to a good day. The hour for convening having arrived. All members will please take their seats. All members take their seats, please. Mr. Clerk, will you please ring the bell? We're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 68th House District, Representative Tish Nagisi. Representative Nagisi.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. In the gallows, thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to be introducing Reverend Dr. Durley. Dr. Durley is actually the minister all over the world. So the church home, he retired from Providence. You may have seen it in the news where they desecrated his church. But I want to say that I met him during an environmental rally. He also gave me a certificate and money for my schooling, and that was the C.T. Vivian Awards. So I just want him to come up and give us his word for today. And then, and he's here, Dr. Durley.
Thank you.
Welcome, good to have you, Dr.
Thank you. Good morning. I finally arrived in the big house. All of these years, I've been passing by wondering, what do they do in there? And sometimes you wonder, what did I do out there? But when we can get the out there with the in there, we got something for the state of Georgia, and we ought to be proud in the name of the Lord. Let me say good morning to all of you, and certainly to Speaker Burns and Tish Nagis for inviting me to come this morning. And I wondered, whenever you're asked to say something with a distinguished body like this, what can you really say? And I've often known that when you're in doubt as to what you should talk about, you need to ask somebody. So I asked my son, what should I talk about? And he said, well, come on, Dad, just say anything to them. They're all right. Then I turned to my daughter and I said, what should I talk about? She said, well, Dad, be erudite. It's a distinguished body. And then I turned to Speaker Burns and I said, what should I speak about? He said, speak about 5 minutes and sit down. We've got a lot of things to do today. We live in a world that seems to pull us all in so many different directions. And at the same time, we feel so overwhelmed. Well, I stopped by just for a few moments to offer a word of assurance that with all of the decisions that you have to make for the citizens of Georgia, how you can feel a certain inner peace in today's mayhem. Can you imagine never having to feel any anxiety when you come into this chamber? It seems like that possibly might be an impossibility. We all have worries on the job, in our homes, with our families, and even wondering, sometimes, did we make the right vote after we've cast the vote? Well, there is a solution, I think, to possibly when you come into this chamber and you feel all the stressors around you every day, just getting through the traffic, sitting in your seat, wondering, what should I do? What side should I vote for? It's a stressful situation. And there was a young man named Apostle Paul. Can I use Apostle Paul in the sanctuary? Can I talk from the Bible in the sanctuary? I don't know, sometimes there's a block on the door, but I got to do it because that's who I am. In Philippians, the 4th chapter, verses 6 through 8, here's what the Apostle Paul says about the reduction of stress. The reduction when there's something in your mind, in your body that's challenging you, when all of the worries of the world seem larger than the mountains and the valleys are deep, you wonder, what can I do? Here's what the Apostle Paul says. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ. In other words, when you read this particular pericope, when you read this text, Paul is saying this. He's given each of us a way to face stressful days with peace. Paul is saying what I want to share with each of you today, this beautiful morning. Every legislative session, you have the awesome responsibility of accepting to meet the needs and expectations of those who sent you here. However, there will be times when your conscience will challenge a decision which you may or may not have agreed upon. These are the times that fill you with anxiety. Paul is saying, don't worry, don't be anxious, don't become stressed, but do what we are going to do in a few moments, and that is pray. The simple obligation to communicate with a God that listens to all that we do, a God that gives us the peace that surpasses all understanding, and that peace will guide you even in the middle of the decision making, where you find a certain calmness and you know that you're in the right road at the right time for the right reason, for the right purpose, bringing hopefully the right results for the citizens of Georgia. When you have that feeling down inside that you're doing the best that you can do, that's all that you can do. And that's what we're here to talk about. We're thanking God for the opportunity to serve. Every day when you get up, you come and you wonder, but if you've got in your mind that I am a servant, God sent his son to serve and not to be a servant, not to be served. He sent him to be a servant. You are public servants who accepted the call to serve. However, to be effectively fulfill your calling, you must not lean on your own understanding, not on your own limited human understanding, but trust God to guard your heart and your mind. In a nation, in a state divided on so many different ideological fronts, the people are looking for public servants, not ideologues who are running for their own particular self-aggrandizement, but simple public servants. You now must begin to create and establish and maintain something that seemingly is being lost in our nation. One of the obligations to be a public servant is to develop trust among those who sent you here to serve them. They're filled with so many fears, apprehensions, and anxiety. But trusting God, your creator, is the sustainer. When all comes in and you don't know which way to turn, don't look to the left, don't look to the right, don't look down at the shoes, but look up to something that's mightier than any of us, a deity that will hold you in the palm of his hand. When doubt comes in, the only way that you can remove doubt is to have a power inside of you that gives you the strength. God did not give you the power of fear, but of a sound mind. This morning I ask that each of you would not see this as just another chaplain getting up here, running his mouth, talking, getting excited, but this is a moment when each of you can make a decision within. How do I effectively go down, deep down into the resources of my very soul, my mind, my heart, my body, and do make a difference? Even though I might disagree with somebody across the aisle, how do we come together for the overall good of the state of Georgia? Not just another chaplain coming. and then going back to business. Well, we pass that. What's for lunch? Sometimes something ought to be said from this dais that makes me think, that makes me reorder my thinking as to how I respect and how I treat the other person, how I overcome the stressors in my life to go. This is the only day God has given each of us to seek his divine guidance and will. As you legislate this session, make your decisions after you pray, meditate, listen, and obey that creative spiritual force that is down inside of each of us, the spirit that I will continue to serve. And one of the ways to do that I found, whenever I'm in doubt, many mornings, even though I've been out on the field a long time, started in the civil rights movement in 1959. I'm 81 years old now, so I've been on the, here's another thing, don't sing anymore, I'm on the battlefield. Don't ever, you're not on the battlefield, you're in the battle. There's a difference between being on the battlefield and in the battle. So we're in the battle, and the only way to win in the battle is to have a general, General God. And General God will lead you in the battle to victories, and that's what we want here. So will you join with me as we communicate with an almighty God? Somebody ought to say amen. Somebody ought to be thankful that the stress is less now. Stress is less. Almighty and divine, righteous God, the giver of every good and perfect, excellent gift, it is once again that you've summoned us to this powerful chamber. Public servants, those that have committed themselves and their lives and their spirits to make a difference in this great state. This legislative body, God, individually and collectively, we ask that you would touch them and allow them to put their egos on the altar and crush and seek your divine guidance for governing your people. Dear God, I ask that you would bless their families. Touch them when they come to this place, this chamber of power. Bless their families, bless their children, bless their wives, bless their daughters. Bless all in their families that they can feel the assurance that their father, their mother, their uncle, their cousin is doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason, for the right purpose to get the right result. Touch them, give them fear. Lessen all fear right now. And certainly, God, remove all stress, even through the day. After these words have been uttered, these mere human words, let that stress go down, go down, go down. And if you, God, we ask a special blessing this morning on our friend, President Jimmy Carter. God, go down there to Plains. Touch Rosalind right now, Jason, and the rest of the family. God, give them the assurance that everything not will be all right, that everything is all right. This legendary leader, this son of Georgia, God, touch him right now. You told us don't worry about this little earthen tabernacle. But God, like the people in this chamber, I ask that you would touch his spirit to let him know that it is all right. Let your finger of love touch him. And then, God, I ask a special blessing for the people in Turkey and Syria. 40, 50,000 people wiped out in one fell earthquake. We come and we lose one or two in our lives, but all those people, bless them as they face those cold conditions. Finally, God, I'd ask that you would bless my good friend Charlie Fleming, who's retiring in the Labor Department. Bless all that he has done for so many years in this place. God, now empower this legislature body with wisdom, insight, compassion, caring, honesty, decency, and a sense of enjoying what they're doing. I ask for your total involvement on this day, God. Touch them right now. Let them feel a certain urging that from this day forward, this will not just be a chamber where we come that we've been elected, but this will be a chamber of transformation for making Georgia still one of the greatest states in the nation. And we ask it all in the name who understood what it meant to just lift it off. Lift off the problems, lift off the stress, give it to God, and God will give it back to you. And we ask it all in the powerful name of a living, risen Savior. And all those in agreement said, amen. 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 Let us salute the flag. Amen. Thank you.
Reverend Durley, we appreciate those words of encouragement.
Thank you.
They're well received. Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Members may greet Chaplain Durley in the South Anteroom. Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, is recognized. Just suspend just for a moment.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal the previous legislative day and found it to be correct. And just something else we need to think about, whatever you are, be the best one that there is.
That's a work in progress, Chairman Tarvin. But we're working. Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you please read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Administration of the 104th municipality establishes the order of business during the first part of the period unanimous consents. Introduction bills and resolutions, first reading reference of House bills and resolutions, second reading of bills and resolutions, reports of standing committees, first reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions, morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 491 by Representative Drenner of the 85th, Carter of the 93rd, Evans of the 89th, Davis of the 87th, Thomas of the 65th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 1 and Title 12 of the Official Code of Georgia Ann Taylor relating to general provisions regarding conservation and natural resources.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Bill 492 by Representative Powell of the 33rd. A bill be titled an act to amend an act to provide a new charter for the city of Hartwell.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 493 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th, Newton of the 127th, and Oliver of the 82nd. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 4326.9 of the Official Code of Georgia Ann Taylor relating to renewal, surrender, and restoration.
Health.
House Bill 494 by Representative Glaze of the 67th, Nakisi the 68th, Gladney of the 130th, Alexander of the 66th, Taylor of the 92nd. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 14 of the Official Code of Georgia Ann Taylor relating to corporations, partnerships, and associations.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 495 by Representative Drenner of the 85th, Carter of the 93rd, Evans of the 89th, Davis of the 87th, Thomas of the 65th. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 12 of the Official Code of Georgia Ann Taylor relating to conservation and natural resources.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Bill 496 by Representative Donahue of the 31st, Byrd of the 20th, Smith of the 18th, Mathis of the 149th, Horner of the 3rd. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia Ann Taylor relating to crimes and offenses.
Public and Community Health.
House Bill 497 by Representative LaHood of the 175th, Williams of the 148th, Seaball of the 34th, Lumsden of the 12th, Hitchens of the 161st. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to health.
Human Relations and Aging.
House Bill 498 by Representative Mathis of the 149th, Green of the 154th, Bentley of the 150th, Beverly of the 143rd, Smith of the 18th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Part 3 of Article 1 of Chapter 18 to Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to licenses for funeral directors.
Small Business Development.
House Bill 499 by Representative Hitchens, the 161st, Dempsey, the 13th, Smith, the 70th, Stevens, the 164th, Ballinger, the 23rd. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 6 of Title 19 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions regarding alimony and child support.
Juvenile Justice.
House Bill 500 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Reeves of the 99th, Hilton of the 48th, Chokas of the 151st, Daniel of the 117th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 3 of Chapter 7 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to arson and explosives.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 501 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Williamson of the 112th, Barton of the 5th, Werkheiser of the 157th, Reeves of the 99th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 39 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to regulation of employment of minors.
Industry and Labor.
House Bill 502 by resident of Silcox of the 53rd, Hawkins of the 27th, Dempsey of the 13th, Newton of the 127th. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 9 of Chapter 34, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated the Georgia Cosmic Laser Services Act.
Health.
House Bill 503 by Representative Hawkins of the 27th, McDonald of the 26th, Yearwood of the 152nd, Gullett of the 19th, Barton of the 5th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to income taxes.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 504 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th and Jones of the 25th. The bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 22-164 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to local 5 mil share funds.
Education.
House Bill 505 by Representative Chokas of the 151st, Silcox of the 53rd, Hilton of the 48th, Daniel of the 117th, Reeves of the 99th. The bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 161130 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to riot.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 506 by Representative Earhart of the 36th, Irwin of the 32nd, Jaspers of the 11th, Knight of the 134th, and Dubnik of the 29th. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to education.
Education.
House Bill 507 by Representative Ridley the 6th, Smith of the 18th, Bond of the 73rd, Williams of the 148th, Harvard of the 2nd. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 30 of Chapter 1 and Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to beauty pageants.
Small Business Development.
House Bill 508 by Representative Ballinger the 23rd, Hilton of the 48th, Reeves the 99th, Daniel the 117th, Chokas the 151st, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 16594 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to restraining orders and protective orders.
Juvenile Justice.
House Bill 509 by Representative Ballinger the 23rd, Hilton the 48th, Reeves the 99th, Daniel the 117th, Chokas the 151st, and others. A bill to be titled Act to amend Code Section 1671 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to burglary.
Juvenile Justice.
House Bill 510 by Representative Barnes the 86th, Beverly the 143rd, Clark the 108th, Owl the 50th, Oliver the 82nd, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 2, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to elementary and secondary education.
Education.
House Bill 511 by Representative Horner III, Tarver II. A bill be titled an act to amend an act to provide a homestead exemption from all Catoosa County School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 512 by Representative Kendrick of the 95th. A bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7 and Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to imposition rate computation exemptions and credits relative to income taxes.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 513 by Representative Clark of the 108th, Owl of the 50th, Cannon of the 58th, Barnes of the 86th. Bill be titled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 6 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to competencies in core curriculum.
Education.
House Bill 514 by Representative Washburn of the 144th, Bazemore of the 69th, Reeves of the 99th, Lim of the 98th, Ridley the 6th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Chapter 66 and Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to zoning procedures.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 515 by Representative McCollum of the 30th, Powell of the 33rd, Jaspers of the 11th, Wiedauer of the 121st, Ridley of the 6th. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to motor vehicles and traffic.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 516 by Representative McCollum of the 30th, Jaspers of the 11th, Ballinger of the 23rd, Carpenter of the 4th, Hagan of the 156th. Bill be entitled an act to amend Article 6 of Chapter 2 of Title 32 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the exercise of power to contract by the Department of Transportation.
Transportation.
House Bill 517 by Representative Washburn of the 144th, Bazemore of the 69th, Smith of the 18th, Lim of the 98th, Ridley the 6th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 80 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to buildings and housing.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 521 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, Cooper of the 45th, Hawkins the 27th, Douglas of the 78th, and Newton of the 127th. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 7, Chapter 4, Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to medical assistance generally.
Public and Community Health.
House Bill 522 by Representative Fry of the 122nd, Drenner of the 85th, Washburn of the 144th, Roman of the 97th, Gullett of the 19th, and others. Bill being titled, Act to amend Article 6 of Chapter 3 of Article 3 of Chapter 5 and Title 44 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to property owners associations.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 523 by Representative Williams, the 168th, Jackson, the 128th, Limb of the 98th, Mitchell, the 88th, Hughley, the 141st. Bill being titled, an act to amend Chapter 5C of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to alternative ad valorem taxes on motor vehicles.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 524 by Representative Ridley, the 22nd, Powell, the 33rd, Ridley, the 6th, Yerda, the 152nd, Momtahana, the 17th, and others. Bill be titled, an act to amend Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated related to motor vehicles and traffic.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 525 by Representative Ridley, the 22nd, Powell, the 33rd, Ridley, the 6th, Yerda, the 152nd, Clark, the 100th, and others. Bill be titled, an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 10 and Title 17 and Article 3 of Chapter 5 and Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the procedure for sentencing and imposition of punishment.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 526 by Representative Ridley, the 22nd, Reeves, the 99th, Horner, the 3rd, Clark, the 100th, Miller, the 62nd, and others. Bill being titled, an act to amend Code Section 52-725, the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the enforcement of rules and regulations.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 527 by Representative Barnes, the 86th, Taylor, the 92nd, Carter, the 93rd, Owl, the 50th, Maynard, the 56th, and others. Bill be titled, an act to amend Code Section 22-261 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to common minimum facility requirements.
Education.
House Bill 528 by Representative Gaines, the 120th, Saints, the 180th, Smith, the 18th, Wiedauer, 121st, Burchetta, the 176th, and others. Bill be titled, an act to amend Article 15, Chapter 1 and Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to deceptive or unfair trade practices.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 529 by Representative Williams, 148th, Lumsden of the 12th, and Gunner of the 8th. Bill be titled, an act to amend Title 33 and 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to insurance and motor vehicles and traffic.
Insurance.
House Bill 530 by Representative Burchetta, the 176th, Smith of the 18th, Leverett of the 123rd, and Gunner of the 8th. Bill be titled, an act to amend Article 5 of Chapter 11 and Title 9 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to depositions and discovery.
Judiciary.
House Resolution 255 by Representative Drenner of the 85th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on Environmental Justice.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Resolution 256 by Representative Perkle, 169th, and Houston of the 170th. A resolution honoring the life of Miss Sophia Ruth Fisher, dedicating an interchange in her memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 257 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, McCollum of the 30th, Daniel of the 117th, Camp of the 135th, Gamble of the 15th, and others. A resolution requesting the United States Congress call a convention under Article 5 of the Constitution.
Rules.
Senate Bill 13 by Senator Albers, the 56th, Robertson of the 29th, Dugan of the 30th, Payne of the 54th, Beach the 21st, and others. Bill be titled, an act to amend Code Section 913-161, 4414-162, and 4841 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to where and when sales under execution can be held.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 61 by Senator Strickland of the 17th, Dugan of the 30th, Walker of the 20th, Anderson of the 43rd, McLaurin of the 14th. Bill be titled, an act to amend Code Section 34.110 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the use of sick leave for care of immediate family members.
Industry and Labor.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. Let's suspend just for a minute, Mr. Clerk. I see almost no activity in the anterooms. They're feeling lonely. I think that's what they were made for a little conversation. So if members will take part of this conversation to the anteroom, then we'll swap out. Some of y'all can come back in and talk, and some of you can stay out there. So let's be respectful of the clerk as we move to the second reading of bills and resolutions. Thank you.
House Bill 445 by Representative Mathiak of the 74th, Hatchett of the 155th, Smith of the 70th, Gunter of the 8th, Powell of the 33rd, and others. The bill relating to nurses. House Bill 446 by Representative Reeves of the 99th, Silcox of the 53rd, Hilton of the 48th, Daniel of the 117th, Crowe of the 118th and others, a bill relating to crimes and offenses, House Bill 447, by Representative Vance of the 133rd, Collins of the 71st, Mitchell of the 88th, Powell of the 33rd, Williams of the 112th, and others, a bill relating to motor vehicles and traffic, House Bill 448 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, Mitchell of the 88th, Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Bennett of the 94th, a bill relating to insurance, House Bill 449 by Representative Knight of the 134th, Corbett of the 174th, Rhodes of the 124th, Cannon of the 172nd, Perkel of the 169th, a bill relating to general provisions for ad valorem taxation of property, House Bill 450 by Representative Gunter of the 8th, Smith of the 18th, abstention of the 104th, Burchett of the 176th, Reeves of the 99th, and others, a bill relating to courts in general, House Bill 451, by Representative Seabaugh of the 34th, Kennard of the 101st, Hitchens of the 161st, Gaines of the 120th, Camp of the 135th, and others, a bill relating to public officers and employees, House Bill 452 by Representative Perkel of the 169th, Jaspers of the 11th, Meeks of the 178th, Rhodes of the 124th, Knight of the 134th, and others, a bill relating to general provisions relative to agriculture, House Bill 453 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, Cooper of the 45th, Sharper of the 177th, Hawkins of the 27th, Seabaugh of the 34th, and others, a bill relating to health, House Bill 454 by Representative Blackman of the 146th, Wilkinson of the 38th, Knight of the 134th, a bill relating to revenue and taxation, House Bill 455 by Representative LaHood of the 175th, Cooper of the 45th, Newton of the 127th, Silcox of the 53rd, Reese of the 140th, a bill relating to general provisions relative to professions and business, House Bill 456 by Representative Gunter of the 8th, Lumpson of the 12th, Scoggins of the 14th, Silcox of the 53rd, Collins of the 71st, a bill relating to general provisions regarding municipal courts, House Bill 457 by Representative Ballard of the 147th, Irwin of the 32nd, Wade of the 9th, Dubnik of the 29th, Corbett of the 174th, and others, a bill relating to employment under the Quality Basic Education Act, House Bill 458 by Representative Perkel of the 169th, Corbett of the 174th, Williams of the 148th, and Rhodes of the 124th, a bill relating to hemp farming, House Bill 459 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th, Collins of the 71st, Gunter of the 8th, Hitchens of the 161st, Scoggins of the 14th, a bill relating to children's fingerprints, photographs, and names, House Bill 460 by Representative Ballinger of the 23rd, Camp of the 135th, Reeves of the 99th, Silcox of the 53rd, a bill relating to juvenile code, House Bill 462 by Representative Ballinger of the 23rd, Gunter of the 8th, Burchett of the 176th, Oliver of the 82nd, Camp of the 135th, a bill relating to the juvenile code, House Bill 463 by Representative Ballinger of the 23rd, Sains of the 180th, Hitchens of the 161st, a bill relating to powers and duties of the Bureau generally, House Bill 465 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, a bill to amend the Georgia Lottery for Education Act, House Bill 466 by Representative Bonner of the 73rd, Jenkins of the 136th, Cannon of the 172nd, Clark of the 100th, a bill relating to massage therapy practice, House Bill 467 by Representative Tarvin of the 2nd, Cameron of the 1st, a bill relating to courts, local governments, public officers, employees, revenue, and taxation, House Bill 468 by Representative Bentley of the 150th, a bill to amend an act to provide a new charter for the city of Butler, House Bill 469 by Representative Houston of the 170th, Hagan of the 156th, Jones of the 25th, McCollum of the 30th, Crow of the 118th, and others, a bill relating to loitering at or disrupting schools, House Bill 470 by Representative Cooper of the 45th, Parrish of the 158th, Leverett of the 123rd, Smith of the 18th, Reeves of the 99th, the bill relating to medical and other confidential information, House Bill 471 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, Powell of the 33rd, Washburn of the 144th, Roberts of the 52nd, Reeves of the 99th, and others, a bill relating to commerce and trade, House Bill 472 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, Blackman of the 146th, Hitchens of the 161st, Lumsden of the 12th, Powell of the 33rd, and others, a bill relating to the Employees Retirement System of Georgia, House Bill 473 by Representative Deloach of the 167th, a bill relating to bingo. Of Bill 474 by Representative Daniel of the 117th and Mathiak of the 74th, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from Spalding County School District ad valorem taxes. House Bill 475 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Yurta of the 152nd, Franklin of the 160th, Scoggins of the 14th, Barrett of the 24th, a bill to amend the official code of Georgia annotated in furtherance of the work of the Code Revision Commission. House Bill 476 by Representative Beverly of the 143rd, Bennett of the 94th, Fry of the 122nd, a bill relating to tax credits for qualified low-income buildings. House Bill 477 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd, Petrie of the 166th, Prince of the 132nd, Jackson of the 128th, a bill relating to soil amendments. House Bill 478 by Representative Holly of the 116th, Gaillard of the 162nd, Crawford of the 84th, Park of the 107th, Holcomb of the 81st, a bill relating to purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, sale of controlled substance or marijuana and penalties. House Bill 479 by Representative Hutchinson of the 106th, Hughley of the 141st, Schofield of the 63rd, Crawford of the 84th, Paris of the 142nd, a bill relating to general provisions regarding adoption. House Bill 484 by Representative Carter of the 93rd, Beverly of the 143rd, Evans of the 57th, Oliver of the 82nd, Blackman of the 146th, and others, a bill relating to Teachers Retirement System of Georgia. House Bill 485 by Representative McLean of the 109th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Fry of the 122nd, Alexander of the 66th, Hughley of the 141st, and others, a bill relating to minimum wage law. House Bill 486 by Representative Evans of the 89th, Bentley of the 150th, Evans of the 57th, Fleming of the 125th, Mathis of the 149th, a bill relating to cemetery and funeral services. House Bill 487 by Representative Newton of the 127th, Owl of the 50th, Cooper of the 45th, Camp of the 135th, a bill relating to assault and battery and related offenses against persons. House Bill 488 by Representative Reeves of the 99th, Daniel of the 117th, Hilton of the 48th, Washburn of the 144th, Fry of the 122nd, and others, a bill relating to income taxes. House Bill 489 by Representative Horner of the 3rd, Dunhoo of the 31st, Clark of the 100th, a bill to amend the Georgia Entertainment Industry Investment Act. House Bill 490 by Representative Fry of the 122nd, Bazemore of the 69th, Willis of the 55th, Holcomb of the 81st, Roman of the 97th, others, a bill relating to income taxes. House Bill 518 by Representative Cameron of the 1st, Werkheiser of the 157th, Anderson of the 10th, Seabaugh of the 134th, a bill relating to labor and industrial relations. House Bill 519 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, the bill to create the Emmanuel County Public Facilities Authority. House Bill 520 by Representative Jones of the 25th, Oliver of the 82nd, Estration of the 104th, Beverly of the 143rd, Cooper of the 45th, and others, a bill relating to housing authorities. House Bill 529, House Resolution 229 by Representative Draper of the 90th, a resolution proposing amendments to the Constitution so as to provide as a provision relating to filling vacancies in the offices of the Secretary of State, Attorney General, School Superintendent, Commissioner of Insurance, Commissioner of Agriculture, and Commissioner of Labor. House Resolution 230 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th, a resolution honoring the life of Deputy Emery A. Rowland, dedicating a road in his memory. House Resolution 231 by Representative Houston of the 170th, Williams of the 168th, Hitchens of the 161st, a resolution recognizing the Westbury and Vietnam War veterans and dedicating a bridge in their memory. House Resolution 232 by Representative Hutchinson of the 106th, Cooper of the 45th, Roman of the 97th, Beverly of the 143rd, Owl of the 50th, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on evaluating, simplifying, and eliminating duplication of regulatory requirements for mental health and social service providers. Senate Bill 12 by Senator Albers of the 56th, Robertson of the 29th, Duggan of the 30th, Payne of the 54th, Beach of the 21st, and others, a bill relating to crimes and offenses. Senate Bill 56 by Senator Hostetler of the 52nd and Williams of the 25th, a bill relating to ad valorem taxation. Senate Bill 84 by Senator Hostetler of the 52nd, Estevez of the 6th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Williams of the 25th, Botson of the 1st, and others, a bill relating to amend the Georgia Uniform Securities Act of 2008. Senate Bill 93 by Senator Navarrete of the 31st, Kennedy of the 18th, Gooch of the 51st, Robertson of the 29th, Brass of the 28th, and others, a bill relating to information technology. Senate Bill 112 by Senator Navarrete of the 31st, Robertson of the 29th, Payne of the 54th, Gooch of the 51st, Hickman of the 4th, and others, a bill relating to vocational, technical, and adult education through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Robert Dickey, the 145th District Chairman on Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs has set under consideration the following bill of the House. Instruct Committee to report same back to the House. Following recommendations: House Bill 33 do pass by substitute. House Bill 187 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Robert Dickey, the 145th District Chairman. Representative Don Parsons, the 4th District Chairman on Committee on Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications has had under consideration the following bills of the House, and has instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendations. House Bill 73 do pass by committee. Substitute. House Bill 438 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Don Parsons, the 4th District Chairman. Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District Chairman of the Committee on Higher Education submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Higher Education has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. Has instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendations. House Bill 122 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman. Representative Gunner of the 8th District, Chairman on Committee on Judiciary, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary has had under its consideration the following bills of the House and has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 30 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 204 do pass. House Bill 254 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 444 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Gunner of the 8th District, Chairman. Representative Dale Washburn of the 144th District, Vice Chairman of the Committee on Regulated Industries, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Regulated Industries has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 155 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 212 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Dale Washburn of the 144th District, Vice Chairman. Representative Karen Mathiak, the 74th District, Chairman on Committee on State Planning and Community Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on State Planning and Community Affairs has under consideration the following bill of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 43 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Karen Mathiak, the 74th District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
We'll move on to morning orders. Members, we have some morning orders this morning. Watch. We'll begin our morning orders this morning on one that I'm sure every member of this house needs to hear. So we need your full attention. Pay attention to the chairman in the well, who's going to bring some clarity to some information that's on your desk. Chairman Buddy DeLoach is recognized for a morning order. Chairman DeLoach.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On your desk, you will find this blue book. I want to thank the clerk's office and Office of Legislative Counsel for all the work they've done putting this together. Under this blue cover, you'll find everything you ever wanted to know about ethics. They've done a tremendous job. I urge you to take time to study what's under this blue cover. I promise you there's at least one member of this House that will get in trouble somewhere down the line because they didn't take time to read this. Please don't let that be you. If you come to me and ask me a question about ethics, the answer is, did you read the book? Because it's in the book. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It can't be any clearer than that. Members, we have some morning orders, and we're going to ask you, we have a lot of business to take care of today. I'm going to ask you to try your very, very best to hold it to 1 minute. Representative Bennett is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. It's my honor to ask my Alpha Kappa Alpha women colleagues to join me in the well. Today we are recognizing Kappa Omega, a Georgia chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, for their 100th centennial anniversary. In the early third decade of the 20th century, a group of AKA women living in Atlanta were compelled by their own experiences as members of Alpha Kappa Alpha to organize the first graduate chapter in the state of Georgia. So today we have with us in the gallery, and I ask you to join me in welcoming Kappa Omega, 100 years old this week in Atlanta, Georgia. The first chapter in Atlanta of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and we yield the well.
Thank you, ladies, and welcome, ladies, in the gallery. Good to have y'all. Representative Jasmine Clark. Representative Clark. Chairman Prince. Chairman Prince. Here he is.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good evening. Good morning, colleagues. It is my pleasure to welcome to the State House the Jefferson County Youth Leadership. That's one of the rural areas that I represent. They should be walking through right now. Of course, you see all the seats up there. No one can get in, but they just walked through a little while ago. But they're the president, Ms. Avery Berry of the local chamber. You also have Ms. Tammy Hodges, who works with those young leaders. But when you see them, please welcome them to the People's House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome. Welcome. Representative Jasmine Clark, recognized for a morning order, and she has friends coming with her to the well. Representative Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I have the honor and pleasure of welcoming the Gwinnett NAACP and their president, Penny Poole, for their annual Black Family Day at the Capitol. They are here with us in the gallery. Please stand. Stand and wave. Thank you so much for joining us today in the People's House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative, and welcome to your House of Representatives, your house, our house. Representative Bentley is recognized for a morning order. Here she comes. Give her some room, she's coming through. Oh yeah, she has friends as well.
Yes, come on down. Representative Bentley's in the well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is a great day at the state capitol. You know why? Because in the gallery we have the 3 public HBCUs represented here. The Fort Valley State University, the Albany State University, and the Savannah State University. So we ask that you all please stand and welcome them to their state capitol. Yes. Fort Valley State University, Albany State University, and Savannah State University. We're so glad to have the Alumni Association of all 3 HBCUs represented here on today at the state capitol. And please go by and visit them, as we are so happy to have them visiting today.
That was great. No, I don't want to say anything.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, colleagues. I'm wearing my blue and gold hat today in honor of Fort Valley State University. Yes, ma'am, and sir, thank you. Thank you.
So trifecta, we're glad to have all of you here today, especially the Tigers from Savannah State. All right. Chairman Green and Chairman Yerder are recognized for a morning order.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's really the 2nd district, congressional district.
And friends.
And friends. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, we have in the gallery, I hope, is Congressman Sanford Bishop. And Congressman Bishop is visiting the Capitol today. He will be meeting with each one of us a little bit later on. But he has served our state, he has served our nation, and it's our honor this morning to welcome Congressman Sanford Bishop to the People's House. Thank you very much. I don't believe he's up there. He's in the Senate. I guess he's still in the Senate, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman Bishop's done a great job for us. He's a good man. He's welcome in the House. Let's see here. Representative Holly, Representative McLean, Representative Sheila Jones, Representative Glaze for a morning order, and some other friends. All good.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today it is a good day because it is Labor Day at the Georgia Capitol. Mr. Speaker, joining us, will you rise our invited guests here? We have, oh man, this is beautiful. Georgia, we actually have here Sandra Williams, as well as Eric Richardson of the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council. Come on, give it up for them. Yeah. We have James Williams, our friend here. We have so many unions here that honestly, if we name them, you actually might find that you're naming every member of your community. But I'm not the only one. We're gonna make it quick. Go on, Lydia.
And so, in the best form we can do, we will say that we have a union leader, a she leader in the House.
Yeah.
And that is none other than Yvonne T. Brooks, a native of St. Louis, but the former secretary and treasurer of Georgia AFL-CIO. She has been duly elected now as the new president. First woman, first African American of AFL-CIO Georgia. And we came today to say thank you for your work, thank you for working for our families, and thank you for making work in Georgia.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, repeat after me. Say, labor strong.
Labor strong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Welcome to the People's House. Chairman Noel Williams, recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to recognize the Pulaski Youth Future Leadership class. They're up in the gallery with Stacy Vickers. We'd like to welcome you to the People's House and thank y'all for being here today.
Welcome, young people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Gilliard. Chairman Gilliard, recognized for a morning order.
Mr. Speaker, I think we have some neighbors adjourning your great district, and we're glad to have from the Seaport City, from the waterways, from the squares, from the tourism, from all over Savannah, Georgia. Members of Savannah, Georgia are here today. Would you please welcome them to the People's House, Savannah, GA? Woo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Welcome, neighbors. Good to have y'all. Chairman Yerter, would you come down and introduce us to the Doctor of the Day? Y'all give Chairman Yerter a little room there. Thank you, ladies. Chairman Yerter.
Good morning, colleagues. It's my pleasure to introduce the Doctor of the Day, Dr. Kush Desai. He's a board-certified internal medicine physician practicing hospital-based medicine at Phoebe Putney Hospital in Albany. He also serves as the Assistant Dean for the Medical College of Georgia Southwest Campus. He's a 2016 graduate of MCG Southwest Campus and returned to the region to direct MCG's clinical campus and train the next generation of physicians. Additionally, Dr. Desai has an expertise in disease prevention and has obtained numerous grants from the FCC, USDA, and the CDC to reduce health disparities in rural Georgia. He co-founded a national program or a statewide program which successfully increased colon cancer screening rates for underserved clinics. He utilized his experience to collaborate with partners from the CDC-funded Georgia Colorectal Cancer Institute program, which he serves as the Regional Medical Director. Some of his recent recognitions include Albany Chamber of Commerce 2021 Under 40 Young Professional of the Year, 2021 Phoebe Inpatient Attending Doctor of the Year, Medical College of Georgia's 2020 Young Alumnus of the Year. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Desai to the People's House.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, I hope all of you paid attention to that introduction, because that's what medical training in Georgia should be about, right? Graduated from Medical College of Georgia and then returned to his home area to practice. Thank you, Representative, and tell the physician how much we appreciate him being here and taking care of us today and what he's doing for the people down in Southwest Georgia. Mr. Clerk, as soon as we get our attention focused in the right direction here, we're going to ask you to read a resolution, special resolution, if you will. No, sir. If you'll read Representative Martin and Representative Irwin.
House Resolution
Special resolution.
197 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Irwin of the 32nd, McDonald of the 26th, Hong of the 103rd, and Gamble of the 15th. A resolution recognizing February 22nd, 2023 as Governor's Honor Program Day at the State Capitol.
Chairman Irwin, Chairman Martin. You're recognized, Chairman Irwin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And colleagues, we are fortunate to have 18 members of the 2022 Governor's Honors Program with us in the gallery. This program has served over 37,000 Georgia high school juniors and seniors in the past 60 years. And by the way, the General Assembly has several members of our body that have been participated in the Governor's Honors Program here, including Representative Victor Anderson, Representative Houston Gaines, and Representative Marvin Lim. Each year, 650 to 700 of Georgia's most talented high school rising juniors and seniors are selected through a very competitive selection process to attend this 4-week rigorous and intensive educational experience on a college campus. From those who have attended in the past year, I have heard, or over the past few years, I have heard that the program was life-changing and magical. The rigor experienced during the program is not typically experienced in a high school setting. The long-lasting friendships continue to thrive over many decades, or what some of our own colleagues have told me. We are excited to have these students with us this morning to celebrate the Governor's Honors Day at the Capitol and to recognize 60 years of magic for tens of thousands of students. Governor's Honors alumni up in the gallery, please stand and let's recognize you. Thank you for attending. We also have 4 members on the floor here with us today. Anna Julia Costa Lima from Denmark High School, majoring in Spanish. Sophia Sun from Johns Creek High School, majoring in Visual Arts. And from my district, Ella Strickland from East Jackson Comprehensive High School, majoring in Agricultural Research, Biotechnology, and Science. Colleagues, thank you for your attention to this, and I'm going to ask the Deputy Director of Governor's Honor Program to say a word to us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Chairman Irwin, Chairman Martin, and representatives. My name is Donovan Head, and I'm the Deputy Director of the Governor's Office of Student Achievement. We're the proud host agency of the Governor's Honors Program. I want to give special thank you to Governor Kemp and to Speaker Burns for their support of the program, along with GOSA Executive Director Joy Hawkins, School Services Director Fran Dundor, Ricky Palmer, and Trevor Kaysen, who manage the program. The chairman just recognized our 3 distinguished representatives that are alums. We want to thank them and also point out that out of our group here and up here, we're hoping to have some members on the floor soon as future Georgia leaders. These 18 representatives, the other side's in the Senate, but they represent 30 of your House districts. They represent 650 of their peers, altogether representing 120 of your House districts, and over 37,000 alumni of the program as a whole. We just want to thank you all for your support. Because of this House's support, we're able to celebrate our 60th year of the program. And we'd like to invite all of you to join us in room CLOB 310 for lunch. We've got plenty of lunch available and love to have you come by and speak with the students. Thank you. Thank you. That's a great job.
60 years of the Governor's Honors Program. What a great group of young people. Thank you for being here, and those up here. And Mr. Director, thank you for what y'all are doing. Members, these leaders will be out in the South Annie room. If there's someone from your district that's up here, be glad for you to have a photo with them. Thank you, Chairman Yoder and Chairman Irwin and Chairman Martin. Members, you just heard the introduction of our physician of the day, and now Dr. Desai is able to come back and join us. So I'd ask y'all to stand and give him a round of applause and thank him for his service, not only to this body, but to our state.
I just want to say thank you to everybody for your support for rural Georgia and physicians in rural Georgia, as well as for the Medical College of Georgia. Our goal is to train physicians that train in Georgia and then come back and practice here, and that's what, of course, I've done. So thank you guys for your support.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more special resolution, but as is the custom of the Senate, they're pretty slow. So we're going to move on to the rules calendar. Mr. Clerk. The clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 157.
House Resolution 157 by Representative Green in the 154th and others, authorizing the lease of certain state-owned property located in Appling County, authorizing the conveyance of certain state-owned property located in Bacon County, authorizing the lease of certain state-owned property located in Bacon County, and authorizing the conveyance of certain state-owned property in Morgan, Newton, and Walton counties. This resolution having been assigned to the Committee on State Properties, that committee recommends that this resolution be adopted by committee substitute.
Chairman of State Properties, Chairman Green, is recognized. The Dean of the House is recognized to present the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and members of the House, I bring for your consideration House Resolution 157 by substitute. This is our annual conveyance resolution that allows and authorizes the state of Georgia, acting through our State Properties Commission, to convey or lease certain state-owned properties.
Mr. Chairman, suspend just for a moment.
Yes, sir.
I bet y'all can solve those problems in the ante room. Mr. Chairman, I think they can hear you now and have their attention on the issue at hand. So proceed, Mr. Chairman. Continue.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The properties that that you're considering in House Resolution 157 by substitute, they are listed in the resolution, and I'm not going to read each one of them, but if you were contacted by my office and by State Properties, then you are in the list there. And, Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I would ask this House to vote in the affirmative for House Bill 157 by substitute.
You did an excellent job there, Dean
I yield the
Green.
well.
No questions. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall the resolution now be adopted? All in favor of adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Well, come on and vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the adoption of the resolution, the yeas were 168, the nays 0. The resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. We're going to suspend just a moment from the rules calendar. We have another special resolution that I think all of y'all would be interested in. And Mr. Clerk, we're going to allow Representative Brad Thomas to be a part of this and his guest. So, but Mr. Clerk, would you read the resolution?
House resolution by Representative Thomas, the 21st, Jaspers the 11th, Ridley the 22nd, Parson the 44th, and Byrd the 20th. A resolution recognizing and commending Bryce Leatherwood on being the winner of the 22nd season of The Voice television series.
Well, Representative Thomas, I very begrudgingly hand the microphone over to you. Recognize Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In December 2022, Bryce Leatherwood won The Voice on NBC. By the way, what a great name for a country music singer. With him today are his parents, Cliff and Hope. By the way, he's a Cherokee County native and one of my constituents. He started singing in 7th grade at Dean Rusk Middle School in Canton. Attended high school at Sequoia. Graduated May 22nd from the state's greatest university, Georgia Southern University, as a fellow alumni of many people up here. At 22 years old, during a blind audition, he wowed the judges by turning 3 chairs and ended up on Blake Shelton's team. His last 2 songs in the competition were Don't Close Your Eyes by Keith Whitley and Trouble by Elvis Presley. Luke Bryan, Cole Swindle, and now it's my friend, Bryce Leatherwood. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you all. Well, you know, I owe a lot to Georgia and everybody who lives in the state of Georgia. They've always supported me, even before The Voice, and they've continued to afterwards. We as artists were asked during the finale to write a letter, a dedication to the people who mean the most to us, and a lot of people wrote about their families and stuff like that. And while my family is very important to me, I decided to write my letter to the state of Georgia. The people of Georgia mean the most to me, and it's thanks to them that I got all the success that I did. And God bless Georgia. Georgia's always on my mind, and God bless the USA. Thank y'all.
By the way, the mayor of Woodstock told me to tell you hi. Apparently, y'all talk regularly.
You want to do a couple stands?
Oh, you don't want none of that.
Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, do it for us.
Come on.
You can do it.
You ready?
Do it, do it. There you go.
Command performance. Come on, Bryce.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a photo right there. Never heard it done any better. Never heard it done any better. Thank you, Bryce, and congratulations.
The clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 158. House Resolution 158.
House Resolution 158 by Representative Green of the 154th and others, authorizing the grant of non-exclusive easements in the construction, installation, operation, and maintenance of facilities, utilities, roads, and ingresses in, on, over, under, open, across, or through properties owned by the state of Georgia. This resolution having been assigned to the Committee on State Properties, that committee recommends that this resolution be adopted.
The chair recognizes Representative Green to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To my colleagues, I bring you House Resolution 158. This is another annual resolution that authorizes the state of Georgia, acting through our State Properties Commission, to grant easements over certain state-owned properties. These easements are listed in your resolution, and there are a number of them, so please look at those. And Madam Speaker, if there are no questions on House Resolution 158, I ask the House for favorable consideration of House Resolution 158.
There are no questions.
And I yield the well, Madam.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Are there any objections to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution be adopted? All in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the adoption of the resolution. The yeas were 163, the nays were 0. The resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. The clerk will read the caption to House Bill 299. House Bill 299.
House Bill 299 by Representative Thomas, the 21st, and others be titled an act to amend Code Section 1592.1, Title 16, Title 19, Title 20, and Title 2 and Title 38, Chapter 2 and Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to appointment, compensation, authority, qualifications, training, and other limitations of associate probate court judges. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Defense and Veteran Affairs, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
The chair recognizes Representative Thomas to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's common knowledge that we have the finest military on the earth, whether it be sea, land, or air. Now we, as a civilization, we head out to space, the final frontier. This bill recognizes the Space Force as one of the branches of the state government. It actually listed out in 13 sections. We individually name every branch of the military, so this now adds to the Space Force as one of them. All I do is ask for your favorable consideration, and on the behalf of all of our future Space Force people, I hope they boldly go where no man has gone before, or person. Thank you.
You have a question?
I'll yield.
The chair recognizes Representative Saines for question.
Does the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Nowhere in this bill does it relate to any other spaceships going from any other part of this state, is there?
There's no specific mention of Camden County anywhere in this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes Representative McCollum for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it true that you promised that we'd get a rocket ship ride if we vote for this bill?
You go ahead and vote for it, and we'll see about getting you the ride on the rocket ship.
There are no more
Any more?
questions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask for your favorable consideration.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 168, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. The clerk will read the caption to House Bill 317. House Bill 317.
House Bill 317 by Representative Taylor, the 173rd and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 19 to Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the State Employees Assurance Department so as to provide for the assignment of certain group term life insurance benefits to pay for funeral services of a deceased individual who is a member of the Employees Retirement System of Georgia. This bill I referred to the Committee on Insurance. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Taylor to present the bill.
LC 432612. This is a bill that reflects on our retiree program. It's an old program that is no longer in effect, but it would allow the beneficiaries of life insurance to assign the benefits to the funeral home. I've passed this bill last year, and it didn't get out of the Senate. What it basically does will allow those beneficiaries to pay directly to the funeral homes. Are there any questions?
The lady has a question. Chair recognizes Representative Bentley for a question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentle lady yield?
I do.
Is it not true that I am extremely excited that House Bill 317 is being presented today, and the Strawberry Queen is going to be so very excited when all the members of the House of Representatives vote yes for House Bill 317 on behalf of the Funeral Home Caucus of Georgia. Is that not true?
That is very true.
Thank you so very much, and thank you, colleagues, for your yes vote to House Bill 317.
Chair recognizes Representative Tarvin for a question.
The lady yield.
I do.
Does this make it easier for the funeral home caucus to collect their money after a death of a person they handle their body?
Yes, it will. It will. It's the decision of the beneficiary, and it will help everybody. Thank you.
We feel like we're all familiar with that situation after 9 years.
Thank you.
There are no more questions.
Thank you. I yield the well and ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 171, the nays were 1. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 285. House Bill 285.
House Bill 285 by Representative Franklin and the 160th and others to be entitled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 20, Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated the Public Retirement Systems Investment Authority Law, so as to raise the limit for the total percentage of funds that the Employment Retirement System of Georgia may invest in alternative investments. This bill having referred to the Committee on Retirement, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
The chair recognizes, I'm not sure I recognize this name, Representative Franklin to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the Assembly, on your desk, you will see a letter that's written from the Director of the Employment Retirement Systems of Georgia in full request of this bill and in full support of the bill. I also want to add that it flew through committee with unanimous support. But this bill would amend provisions relating to the Public Retirement System Investments Authority law. Current law authorizes most eligible large retirement systems to invest up to 10% of their assets in alternative investments. However, the Employment Retirement System is limited to a 5% investment in alternative investments. If this legislation is enacted, the limitation currently placed on the employee retirement systems would be removed, and the system would be authorized to invest up to 10% of their assets in alternative investments. So I ask your full support, consideration of the bill, and Madam Speaker, I yield the well.
Not so fast. The gentleman has some legitimate questions. Chair recognizes Chairman Smith to your right, or to your left for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Is it not true that this is your first bill on the floor?
It is.
And is it not further true that although we may share the same alma mater, that you are indeed a freshman?
It is true.
And is it not further true that we've lived without this legislation until you got here?
That is true. Aren't you glad that I arrived?
Gentlemen, further yield.
I do.
So it's your position here today that we cannot live without it since you got here?
It is as the gentleman speaks.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Martin for a question. To your right.
Gentleman, yield for a question.
I yield.
Don't you think isn't it true that we'd be better off in this world if we treated all things equally and we could all get along?
In some cases, yes.
You don't believe that in all cases. You clearly don't believe it in this case, isn't it true? Because in your bill, you only address large retirement systems. I'm wondering if the gentleman could tell the House what he has against small, medium, and extra large systems. and after you do that, can you tell me exactly what a large retirement system is and what's the difference between it and a medium and extra large?
Well, a large system is a large system. A medium system is a medium, and a small is a small. But with this large system, it is imperative that we pass this bill so that they can have a better return on their investment.
Chair recognizes Representative Montahan for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
I was looking at the documentation for your bill today from the great gentleman, our state auditor, Mr. Greg S. Griffin. But I see that this letter is addressed to a Chairman Carson, and my eyes aren't good, but I don't see a Chairman Carson up there. Can you explain yourself?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that question. Chairman Carson is in full support of this bill, and he would very much like you to vote for it.
Then it's a great bill.
Thank you, sir.
Chair recognizes for a last question Representative McDonald. To your right.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
I've taken House Bill 285, and you said it flew through committee. So if this does not fly, can we vote against your bill?
I'll go with that.
All right. Just want to test.
Oh, it's perfect. It's great.
There are
Madam
no
Speaker,
more,
I yield
no
the
more
well.
questions, and the gentleman has yielded the well.
Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 171, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 203. House Bill 203.
House Bill 203 by Representative Newton of the 127th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 12 with Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the control of hazardous conditions, preventable diseases, and metabolic disorders so as to revise provisions relating to restrictions on the sale and dispensing of contact lenses with respect to physicians. This bill having referred to the Committee on Health, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Newton to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, colleagues. It's good to be here. I know we were all challenged by the chaplain. I know I was this morning to come ways we can work together just to better the lives of our fellow Georgians. I know each of us brings our area of expertise, our committee service that we volunteered for or got assigned to. We all want to make a difference in the lives of others. This is one area of healthcare that I work in a little bit, and what this particular bill does is expand an option for telemedicine. Much of telemedicine we tried during the pandemic. It's appropriate for some things, but it's not appropriate for others. And sometimes we've had to learn the hard way when that's appropriate. But it can be tremendously important in our rural areas, but it doesn't mean it's unimportant with our suburban and urban areas. House Bill 203 in particular looks to expand the option for Georgians who wear contact lenses for vision correction. The technology, as well as our comfort level, both the patient and the provider in telemedicine, has increased since we last addressed eye care in 2015. Over the past 2.5 years, we've gotten valuable input from really all areas of eye care professionals. We've gathered this from optometrists who prescribe most of the contact lenses in Georgia. We've gotten it from ophthalmologists, the Medical Association of Georgia, plus input from eye care professional organizations that provide telemedicine in 47 other states. These eye care telemedicine providers actually use board-certified Georgia-licensed ophthalmologists to evaluate patients with what's called an eye assessment, to checking their vision and their eye exam, an eye assessment by telemedicine, and with careful safety guardrails. This allows them to do that for up to 24 months of refills. Currently, the current Georgia code calls for an in-person exam every year by everyone who wears contacts. I will say the initial prescription for contacts still has to be done in person along with any follow-up visits. That's very, very important and very important that somebody have a provider immediately available. And it also puts guardrails around any telemedicine on people with higher risk conditions. And in the bill, we've described those as long as we stay between 21 and 50, where there's low risk of other eye problems, as long as there's no diabetes, hypertension, or other high-risk conditions. It is felt and has been the input of all the professionals I've mentioned that this would be a safe expansion of telemedicine for eye care in Georgia. I have appreciated the work of the eye care professionals and the professional organizations outside this room. There's been great input, there's been great agreement, and look forward to coming from this with better access, affordability, and convenience for patients across Georgia. So I appreciate your favorable consideration, Madam Speaker. I'm glad to stand for any questions.
You have a question. The chair recognizes Representative Ridley for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
I will.
I know you said that this bill, you got to have your initial prescription. Is this just like if I'm renewing that same prescription?
Correct. If you're in those age, you have none of the conditions mentioned in the bill that put you at risk. If you're within the 21 to 50 age range, which is also a low risk, it's determined that as long as you've seen an eye care professional in person in the last 24 months, you can get 1 or 2 refills.
Okay, so there is a time limit on 24 months?
Correct, yes,
okay.
sir.
Thank you.
There are no more questions.
Appreciate your favorable consideration.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. For what purpose does Minority Leader Beverly rise?
Pursuant to House Rule 133, I ask to be excused from this vote.
The gentleman has that right, and the journal will so reflect. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 171, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 207. House Bill 207.
House Bill 207 by Representative Rhodes, the 124th, and others be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 7 of Title 52 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to the registration, operation, and sales of watercraft, so as to provide for the carrying of night visual distress signals upon coastal waters of this state during certain hours. This bill has been assigned to the Committee on Game, Fish, and Parks. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
The chair recognizes Representative Rhodes to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have before you House Bill 207. This bill does 2 simple things. It's basically our DNR update. We're just updating some mistakes that were made in code from previous years. The first issue is our distress signals. We're just making it where it is for coastal waters, not all waters. Just coastal waters for the distress signals in this state. The second thing is for our boating operators. Currently in current code, if they have an accident, they can leave the scene and have 48 hours to report the accident. This legislation just simply says they have to stay on scene until authorities arrive. And that's the bill, Madam Speaker.
You have a question?
Yes, ma'am, I'll take one.
The chair recognizes Representative Gullett for a question.
Thank you. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
So a hit and run on a vehicle, is that a felony today, or is that a misdemeanor, or is it do you know?
I think you know that answer, don't you?
Well, looking at the bill quickly, I don't know the answer. I think I have an idea, but I don't know the answer.
I'm no attorney. I'm sure we have somebody here that can answer that for us.
Okay, but this would be a felony on a boating. Is that correct?
Yes, because you're dealing with water, and if you just completely ignore everything and leave, there are a lot more consequences on water than it is on land.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I yield the well, Madam Speaker.
There are no more questions, and the gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 170, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 167. House Bill 167.
House Bill 167 by Representative Momtahan of the 17th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 4564 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to limited driving permits for certain offenders so as to provide for standards for issuance of such permits. This bill having referred to the Committee on Motor Vehicles, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Montaham to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the House, today I present to you House Bill 167. House Bill 167 simply adds language to the code that allows a person that is in arrears for child support to receive a limited driving permit, allowing them to continue to work and pay the arrears for that child support. Now, of note, a judge would still have to approve the issuance of such permit, and it is not in any way an automatic process. A permit issued under this legislation would be revoked if the individual is not catching up on the child support owed. And let's be clear, this legislation does not reduce any penalties on those who do not support their children. It doesn't encourage folks not to pay their child support. It just simply allows a judge who knows the facts of a case to recognize when someone who is behind on their child support can or cannot drive to work. And so we're giving that discretion back to these judges. It's not going to make it easier for them to get current, but it allows them to, again, work to get current. If a judge were to if a judge issues this limited driving permit to someone who chooses to abuse that privilege, this legislation makes it clear that they shall lose that permit if they're not catching up. Today we have 119,000 hard suspensions that are not eligible for these folks to go back to work, and I think we're aiming at trying to get these folks back to work and supporting their children. Madam Speaker, DDS and DHS are both in support. The Child Service Division are in support of the bill. And Madam Speaker, I'll yield for any questions.
We do have questions. The chair recognizes Representative Holly for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Is it not true that I, along with probably many members in this House, look forward to you actually speaking from the well just because we love the tone of your voice?
Well, thank you. And yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Just gentleman for the yield.
Certainly. If you got any more compliments, I'll take as many as I can get.
Is it not true that about a few years ago, used to work at that courthouse building about a couple of blocks from here, writing up child support warrants, and it troubled me that we could actually have opportunities for parents to make good on getting a job, actually making sure they can pay for their family, but we just needed them to be able to get there. And so I certainly am going to support this, and I appreciate you bringing this bill.
Well, thank you. And I think that, children and families have to come first, and that's the intention of the bill. Thank you.
Recognizes Representative Bentley for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that I will be voting in support of House Bill 167 because I believe that not only will this bill help get fathers back to work, it certainly will help with the transportation deficiencies that we face in rural Georgia. Is that not true?
That's correct.
And is it not further true, Representative, that this bill will certainly help address the workforce shortage that we are facing in rural Georgia, and also be able to ensure that families can remain strong with the fathers working and being able to help with their families' incomes and issues? Is that not true?
That's absolutely true. It's putting folks back to work and putting food on the table, and that's and families and children come first.
Right. Thank you for your work on this bill.
Thank you very much.
The chair recognizes for a last question Representative Paris for a question.
Thank you, Lady Chair. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Thank you, sir. So I'm certainly in favor of the bill. Would you tell me what is the process that the delinquent parent, father, would have to go through in order to get to having their license reinstated.
That's right. So under the provisions of this bill, a delinquent parent could petition a court or judge that would then issue a limited driving permit and would be, of course, monitored by all the parties. You've got a lot of folks that are invested in this process, from lawyers, opposing counsel, making sure that and holding accountable that these folks are going to go to work, pay this child support that's in arrears, and that's the important part, right? We want to get to work, but we also want them to pay back that child support. And getting them to pay back that child support and putting that food on the table is the number one concern.
Chair, Representative, I thank you for your work on this. This will unlock just a part of fathers' rights, and I appreciate your work on this bill.
Thank you very much. With that, Madam Speaker, I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 168, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 121. House Bill 121.
House Bill 121 by Representative Anderson of the 10th to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 7 of Title 52 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating the registration, operation, and sales of watercraft generally so as to provide for restrictions and requirements regarding wake surfing and wakeboarding. This bill having referred to the Committee on Game Fish and Parks, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Anderson to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, I bring before you today House Bill 121. This bill is designed to protect personal property and also personal safety on Georgia's lakes and waterways. Currently, the state has a regulation that says within 100 feet of the shoreline or stationary structures, docks, etc., on all lakes, public lakes in the state of Georgia, but motorized watercraft can operate above an idle speed, we refer to that as a no-wake zone. A contemporary issue has come up within the last several years with the popularity of a sport began as wakeboarding, now it is wake surfing. And this is where a boat that has specially designed ballast or a boat that has been retrofitted with ballast to be filled with water, sit very deep in the water at a slow speed, and generate a wake that is 3 to 4 feet high that can literally be surfed on with a surfboard. What this bill does is this, for only that activity, when that size of a wake is being generated that has the capability of being surfed, this bill limits that activity to outside of a buffer zone of 200 feet. It does not affect water skiing. It's defined in here that it is only activities that is related to boarding. It does not affect private lakes. It does, however, protect the shoreline, the personal safety, the watercraft of those in our lakes and waterways who own property and enjoy the activities along those areas. Madam Speaker, that's the bill. I'll take any questions if there are.
Gentleman has a question. The chair recognizes Representative Ridley for a question.
Gentleman, yield.
Yes, sir.
You said that these wake boats, when you put water in them, they go down lower in the water to make bigger waves, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's the only boats that will be affected by this bill?
What this bill doesn't actually direct its enforcement towards a boat or a specific type of boat. It directs it to the activity of generating a wake of that size. So it could be a boat that is defined as a manufactured wake boat. It could also be a boat that has been retrofitted to serve that same purpose.
Okay. Does the gentleman further yield?
Yes, sir.
Let me give you a hypothetical situation. If I've got a regular boat and I put 4-liter McDonald in the back and it lowers it down in the water more, am I breaking the law at that point?
If that causes a wake large enough for yourself or someone to surf on, then yes, sir.
So
If you're within 200 feet of the shore.
So the answer is yes, 4-liter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Dickey to your right for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Going from 100 to 200 is a pretty big jump. How will operators be able to determine where 200 feet is, and the size of the wake and some of those types of subjective issues that DNR might bring forth to an operator?
Thank you for the question. That's a really good question. This bill was actually crafted with the cooperation of Colonel Bernard from DNR. His answer to that question is when they promulgate the rules to enforce this, part of that process is an education process to make sure that signage is posted and that their rangers and the law enforcement agency of DNR understand and work with the public and the boating public to not necessarily use a hammer on this, but to use it as an educational process.
Does the gentleman further yield?
Yes, sir.
What do you feel like DNR is doing a good job now enforcing the 100 feet? I know landowners and property owners complain about when they get close, but do you think the 100 foot is being used now in a proper way?
Again, another very good question, and my answer would be this. Within the resources that DNR has, I think that they're doing a good job of addressing the complaints that they get. Our DNR law enforcement agency is approximately 40% understaffed at the time. That's due to a lot of reasons. We've had a lot of discussion related to that from a budget standpoint and from a DNR standpoint. That's something that we will need to address, and we do need to address, not just within that arm of law enforcement, but across the board. But to answer your question, when they are contacted, they're having to address those issues, and they're trying to do the educational process as much as they can in between. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Meeks for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to ask, does this pertain to intercoastal waterways as well?
It would pertain to any publicly accessible waterway in the state of Georgia that DNR has the enforcement jurisdiction on.
Thank you, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Momtaham for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
I hate to follow up Representative Ridley's question with another hypothetical, but when I jump off the back of the boat, it makes quite a wake. Now, if these are totally man-made or organic or naturally made wakes, is that included in the bill?
Well, in the case of the gentleman with the healthier diet that he's exercising, that wake is nowhere near as much as it used to be. So, no, sir, I don't think that would apply.
Well, you got a yes vote on that.
The chair recognizes for a final question Representative McDonald to your right.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that a lot of where these issues came from, the lake communities, they're being proactive and they're going to be producing maps at the passage of this bill that they're going to distribute, educate their people, not only with signage, but map drawings to show where 200-foot buffers will be and 100-foot buffers just for educational purposes on all their lakes.
That is correct. The lake associations that we have worked with in the crafting of this bill have been very proactive in their plans to provide education and to provide notices on their properties and the lakes that they work with. I will, as a final note, Madam Speaker, if I may, this bill as it is presented has the full support of the National Motorboat Manufacturers Association as well as the Water Sports Industry Association. So both the boat manufacturers and the water sports associations are in support of this bill as it stands. And with that, I'll ask for your favorable consideration. Madam Chair, I'll yield the will.
Gentleman has yielded the well. The chair recognizes Chairman Powell to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House. I want to come to you today in full support with my thanks to my friend, the representative from the 10th District. This is a bill that we've been trying to get something done with for a few years, but because of the nature of this as a recreational event, a lot of people don't understand the seriousness these the wake boats have created as far as danger, not only to the other boaters, but to the docks and to the other boats that are around. Now, something about water and alcohol, we always said they don't mix. Well, this is water and entertainment and fun for people's families. They buy these boats, and I understand some of these are in excess of $150,000 for these specialty boats that make these huge wakes. Well, right now under Georgia law, it's a 100-foot wake rule. I think the question was asked about DNR, and I will tell you that DNR does a great job, but they don't have enough manpower for the lakes and the recreational areas that we have in the state. I can tell you as a member of this House that lives on probably one of the bigger lakes in the state of Georgia, Lake Hartwell, that transcends and joins both Georgia and South Carolina, and it's a big lake. But even with that lake, people come down, they bring their wake boats down, but there's a failure, there's a disconnect in common sense. Instead of getting out into the middle of the lake where they can use these boats and the wake will subside by the time it gets to the docks or to other boats, they don't do it. Somehow they always want to get right up close. Now, they may stay 100 foot out, but 100 foot, quite frankly, is not enough room to dispel a 4 or 5 foot wake. When I talk about the damage that's done, floating docks, it can literally throw you or your children or your grandchildren off of these docks. It breaks the cables on these docks. It will pick a boat up and set it on the side of a dock when these wakes hit. So this is a good first attempt. Representative Anderson saw the need in this. He took it forward. It didn't go as far as some of us would like for it to have gone, but I think it's a good first step. It defines that there's a 400-foot barrier from bank to bank that these can be used, and it's 200 feet. I opted for 300 foot, didn't go, but I adhere to the committee action on that. It may come back at some point, but right now, the message should be give the rangers a little bit more latitude so they can enforce something that common sense should have told they should tell these people, don't destroy somebody else's property with your fun and entertainment. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what the bill does. I would certainly commend this to you for your vote and do something for the boat and for the property owners and the folks who enjoy the lakes in this state. With that being all, I will yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 164. The nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. The chair postpones to the next legislative day House Bill 226. House Bill 226. We're moving on to afternoon orders. The chair recognizes Representative Nagizi for an afternoon order.
Good afternoon this time. Earlier today, we heard from Reverend Dr. Durley. He's actually last of the iconic civil rights leader. So I'll tell you about him if you didn't know. I stand before you, my assembly colleagues, to recognize the world-renowned Reverend Gerald Durley, a man of God whose life stretched across the struggle for racial equality against the jackboot of Jim Crow in the South. He educated African Americans as to their family heritage, to a long academic college career at Atlanta's own Clark University, as well as none other than Morehouse College, to his current role as pastor emeritus at Providence Missionary Baptist Church. This man of God is the paragon of commitment to his community. When John F. Kennedy was assassinated, Reverend Dr. Durley turned tragedy into triumph as he honored the late president with service in Nigeria with the Peace Corps. With deep knowledge acquired from years of study into psychology, his renowned faith by meddling civil and human rights under the banner of God's kingdom, and when he found another opportunity to help overlooked and underserved communities, he leapt into action. By joining with Georgia's own Ted Turner and noted actress Jane Fonda, two prominent environmentalists as well as countless other leaders in the conservation movement, Reverend Dr. Durley incorporated the preservation of our scarce planet, especially when the abuses of our earth fall disproportionately upon those without means, and pursued knowledge of activism once more in the name of the deeply rooted beliefs. While he is a proud Christian, Reverend Dr. Durley is a man of faith of all, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus. He would tell you, just like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, none of us are free until we all are free. And I don't know if he's still in the galley, but he might not be. But thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Carpenter for an afternoon order.
All right, folks, I know it's getting late, everybody's getting hungry, but just a little shout out. Today is Georgia Restaurant Day at the Capitol. Just in case you didn't know, Georgia restaurants have an economic impact of $24.9 billion and employ over 11% of the employees in the state in the food service and restaurant industries. But more important, tonight at the Georgia Freight Depot is the Taste of Georgia from 5 to 7. It's the finest event that we have while we're down here. Sorry if Savannah and everybody else, but it's where a bunch of restaurants bring a bunch of small tastings to come try them all out. So get down there tonight, support your restaurants, and load up. Thanks for having us.
For what purpose does Representative Smith rise?
To make a motion, Madam Speaker.
State your motion.
I move that House Bill 267 be transferred from the House Ways and Means Committee to the House Judiciary Committee. Both chairmen are in agreement.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 267 by Representative Smith of the 18th and others to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 7 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to income taxes.
On the gentleman's motion that House Bill 267 be withdrawn from Ways and Means and recommitted to the Judiciary Committee, is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Honoring the life and memory of Vincent Joseph Dooley. Honoring the life and memory of Dr. Crawford Lewis. Celebrating Black Economic Empowerment and Black Excellence in honor of African American History Month. Recognizing and commending for their dedicated service to the DeKalb County community and congratulating them on the grand occasion of their 30th anniversary. Commending the Catoosa County GOP. Recognizing and commending Reverend Dr. Daniel Stevenson upon the grand occasion of his retirement. Congratulating and commending Shirley Barber James for receiving the 2023 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Servant Leader Award. Honoring the men and women who have served, are serving, or will one day serve either in law enforcement, the military branches of the United States, or the firefighters, and recognizing May 2023 as United in Uniform Recognition and Memorial Month. Recognizing and commending Elizabeth Carr Hurst. Recognizing March 1st, 2023 as MedShare International Day at the State Capitol. Congratulating and commending Dr. Amy Sharma for receiving the 2023 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Recognizing and commending Cindy Marella Portal Salazar. Commending Georgia Lineman and recognizing April 10, 2023 as Georgia Lineman Appreciation Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending Bryce Leatherwood on being the winner of the 22nd season of The Voice television series. Recognizing February 20th, 2023 as Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Inc. Day at the State Capitol. Congratulating and commending Carol Eisen for receiving the 2023 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Servant Leader Award. Recognizing the success of layperson CPR training and increasing the survival rate of cardiac and supporting efforts to enhance public awareness of the need of such training. And recognizing and commending Chief Stacy L. Cotton. And for other purposes, that completes the reading with privilege resolution.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We'll have announcements, and then we'll have page photos. If you have an announcement, there's a long list. Please come up to the front so that you're ready and we can move through this efficiently. The chair recognizes Representative Corbett for announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 8 o'clock in the morning, the Motor Vehicles Committee, full committee, will meet in room 606 CLOB, and the Rural Caucus will have lunch upon adjournment over at the Ag Building. Come join us if you will. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Gilliard for an announcement. Chair recognizes Representative Schofield for an announcement.
Good morning, colleagues. Tomorrow is Put On Purple Day. That I see the leader, the chair. You're just smiling. So wear your purple tie tomorrow. It's Lupus Advocacy Day here at the Capitol. If you haven't gotten a lupus cape, I still have some available, but everybody show up in purple tomorrow. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Bruce for an announcement.
Those of you that missed taking the picture this morning with the Black Caucus, we're going to meet on the same steps right after adjournment and take a picture of those that were not there this morning. So we look forward to seeing you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Werkhauser for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The House Industry and Labor will meet today, CLOB 506 at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Mitchell for an announcement.
Thank you. The Democratic Caucus will meet, very important meeting, at 12:30 in room 605 in the CLOB. Once again, that's at 12:30, 605 CLOB. Lunch will be provided. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Knight and Representative Anulowicz for announcement.
Just wanted to announce that, remind you that it is the Georgia Japanese Caucus Luncheon today. This is in CLOB 307 right now upon adjournment, and we'd like to invite all the caucus members to come over there and join us for lunch. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Hilton for an announcement.
Thank
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a reminder, we have our House Education Policy Subcommittee this afternoon, 4 o'clock in room 406 CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Saints for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Special rules today is canceled for the 2 o'clock meeting, and we'll meet on the 27th at 1 p.m. at 415 CLOB.
Chair recognizes Representative Tarvin for an announcement.
Insurance Subcommittee on Property and Casualty will meet in 403, Capitol 403 at 3 o'clock. Insurance Subcommittee on Property and Casualty.
Chair recognizes Chairman Smith for an announcement.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, room 606 CLOB, full committee meeting of the House Natural Resource and Environment Committee. Several bills before us. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Clark for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. GLBC, we will meet by Zoom today at 4 p.m. Check your emails for the Zoom link. Also, Future Caucus, this is just a reminder that we're having dinner tonight at 6 p.m. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Representative Hitchens for an announcement.
The Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police are in town today, and there'll be our legislative reception. All legislators are invited from 6 to 10 at the Georgia Tech Conference Center. Come out and meet your chief of police and enjoy some refreshments.
Chair recognizes Representative Jaspers for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Transportation, you've got it in your inbox repeatedly today. We have changed the room. It's at 2 o'clock and 341 to accommodate a larger crowd. Hope to see you there. House Bill 189, Representative Meeks.
Chair recognizes Representative Yurta for announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Code Revision Committee members, this is what you've been waiting for. We have a meeting today at 3 o'clock, 415 CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Ballinger for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Juvenile Justice Committee will meet this afternoon at 2 o'clock in room 506 in the CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Petrie for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To all the members of Aging and Human Relations, we'll have a full committee meeting today at 4 in room 341 here in the Capitol. We're going to take up 4 important measures. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Jones for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Technology and Infrastructure Innovation Committee will meet at 2 p.m. CLOB 406 to listen to a few simple bills. Thank you.
If you have a page, please make your way down so we can take a picture. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Thursday, February 23rd, 2023.
On the motion of the Majority Leader that the House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, February 23rd, 2023, all those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. The ayes clearly have it, and this House stands adjourned. If anyone, I did want to make one final announcement. If anyone finds a $100 bill, please bring it to me from my left pocket. It actually belongs to Representative Schofield. Pages, please make your way to the front.